Hey guys, I'm back for another video today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about archery and some of the basics, some of the equipment that you may need, at least that I use for archery. Now they have, first of all, one of the first things you're going to buy obviously is a bow. I got a bow right here. It's a snake recurve. I actually highly recommend this bow. It's at 22 pounds. When I pull it back, it's about 26. Excellent bow. It's a two-position bow, which means the arrow can go on either side. So this side, left side, or right side as well. So if you're a left-handed shooter or you're a right-handed shooter, it's very simple to shoot. And also you can go out shooting with friends. You don't have to worry about like, oh man, did you bring your left-handed bow? Oh, I brought my right-handed bow. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. So you don't have to really worry about that. So make sure you get yourself like a good bow to train with. I also have a, like a 40-pound recurve as well. It's an excellent bow. I don't recommend using that until you get the basics down. So a perfect bow, perfect for training, is this simple bow right here. Snake recurve is actually kind of a pretty cool bow. Highly recommend that. Now, after the bow, obviously you're going to get some arrows as well. You want to get some arrows that kind of sort of match it. I don't use anything like, okay, so here's a good example. All right, so this is a very, very lightweight arrow. It's a 500 Legion Fleetwood arrow as well. And it says on here, it's like 500 grain per, I think it's per inch or whatever. On this bow, it's perfect, right? Now, so it's perfect for this bow. It's a lightweight bow, therefore the arrow, more or less a lightweight arrow. Now, this arrow right here, this is my heavier arrow right here, right? This thing is freaking heavy. The tip on there is much, much heavier on there, and if I remember correctly, I think it's 800 grains per inch. So it's a pretty good bow, pretty good arrow. But for this, once again, this is actually a pretty good arrow here, decent arrow. Don't want to start with broad or like any kind of like broad tip. You just want to get like just these kind right here, like simple, good training thing. You can take it to the range and shoot it. You can't usually when you go to a range downtown or wherever you're going to go, you can't have broadheads. So these tips right here are pretty good, right? If your kid picks it up and pokes himself in the leg with it, it's not going to hurt him. Broad tip, you're going to get hurt. You're going to slice your finger off. But so highly recommend getting, when you go down to the nearest range, usually they have equipment. They sell bows, they sell arrows, shooting gloves or finger tabs, whatever, thumb rings. If it's your first time ever shooting archery, you've never shot archery before, shot a bow before, highly recommend, especially traditional archery. I'm not talking about compound. Traditional archery, to make sure that you like it, shoot with something, a little less pressure on your arms and on your wrists and everything like that. Because if I had started off with my 40-pound bow, I would have been like, I was like, I can't pull it, I can't pull it. But with this thing, my boy can pull this thing. My boy can pull this thing back and forth, right? Here's another tip for archery as well. Never dry fire a bow, which means pulling it back and then letting it go. Never pull it back and then just let it go. Snap it, you will freaking snap the limbs, and the string will fly off. You get smacked in the face. So don't ever do that. Right? That's one of the biggest tips that most people don't know. Now, next biggest thing, when you're shooting archery, you want finger protection. Now, finger protection that I use, once again, when you're pulling this thing back and you're shooting, when you let it go, you're gonna screw up your fingers. Guaranteed. You're gonna screw up your fingers. Now, with this training bow, I can actually shoot it with no glove. The glove or the finger tabs or whatever, the thumb ring that you may buy, is used to protect your fingers. Literally, that is what it's for. Everyone has to have one. You have to get one. Now, for the snake recurve, you can use your bare fingers, but still, like I was still having a little bit of issues with it. Highly recommend it. For me, see how I do that? Stick it in there, and then you take it, and I use that for my to protect my shooting fingers. Once again, everybody has different shooting methods as well, you know. But like I said, this right here literally protects my fingers from getting chafed. That's what will happen, right? So these are some of the most important, most basic things that you're going to need when you buy your first bow. Here in America, we like everything big. So when I bought my first bow, they were like, "Oh, you're like a big, strong, tough guy. Here, buy this bow." And I bought it, and I was just like, "Oh, I can't, you know." Oh. Now I can, but when I first started out, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to like keep practicing. Finally, I was able to get it back to an anchor point. But I highly recommend you start off with something very simple, like the snake recurve. Once again, this one is 22 pounds of pressure that I can do on there. Once again, I want to show you guys really how simple it is on this thing. I can keep talking while I'm doing this. See how I'm doing this? Like I'm talking, I'm looking around, whatever. See? I can hold it forever. I can aim, I can do that. Now, with my 40-pound bow, you just need to pull it back. And I know 40 pounds is nothing. It's not much, but you can still hunt with it. I pull that thing back and I let it go, you know. I'm not sitting there like, oh, okay, I got to hold it, whatever. You know, you don't want to do that at all. But with this training bow, it's a perfect training aid, whatever. I can literally hold this thing back, and I can learn how to aim at the target, get my aiming in there as well. So that's really important. So here, let me show you guys something else that I have as well. You need a quiver. You need a quiver. So I bought this. Actually, it's actually a pretty cheap quiver. Once again, as a beginner, you don't need much. You don't need any expensive this and that, whatever. You don't need a lot of expensive stuff. What I have is a very, very simple quiver. So I've gone down to the range and outshot people with really nice quivers, really nice bows, got all this crap on their bow and everything like that. And I outshoot them at the range because they're more worried about the stuff that they have. You know, I got to get all these, these doodads on there and stuff like that. You don't really need much. Some people, like for me, I prefer the quiver that goes on my back. I can also strap this to my waist as well if I really want to. Or you can do it like forwards, you can do it backwards as well. Me, I just hook this thing on there simply. Hook it on there simply. Bam. And I'm ready to go. That's all I need. Like I said, once again, I've outshot people with the really coolest. I mean, they have the latest and greatest tech. They got really expensive bows. They have really expensive arrows. They got a cool, I know finger tabs are really good as well, but they have all this cool stuff, and they're like, man, I'm trying to do this thing when I bought this piece of equipment, that's great and everything, but it's just on how good you are. You don't have to be buying a bunch of stuff, to make yourself look cool, because you're already going to be, it's already cool enough that you're shooting, right? Like, how many people actually shoot archery? Not very many people shoot archery, but so don't worry about that. All the cool stuff goes right out the window. Don't worry about it. Just go out there, be yourself, have fun. Make sure you always, when you go down to your range, always make sure you look at the wall. Like when I go in there and they're like, hey, here's, purchase your target, purchase range time, which target usually is like $1. Depending on which range I go to. So $1 for a target, and then maybe $10 to use the range for as long as I want to. So I do that. one of the first things you should do when your first time going to a range is ask the owner or whoever, person at the front desk, a worker there, ask them what the rules are. Ask them what the rules are. They'll tell you the rules. These are the range rules. You know, we all go to the firing line. We all shoot. We all finish shooting. And then we all say, you know, clear. We're done. We're all done shooting. Range clear, whatever, clear. And then we all go down, pick up our arrows, come back, make sure everyone's behind the line, and then you start shooting again. So it's pretty simple. This is like the most basic tips for archery. Archery, like I used to call it Archery 101. Very, very simple. And then you're going to go and you're going to like set your target. First of all, you can set your target, make sure that you have, they give you like a bail, which is very, very simple. You just paste your target on there. They give you a couple of tabs or whatever they have. And then you boom, 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 put your target on there on the bail. And you push it out to 10 yards, 15, 20 yards, whatever, depending upon how good you are, how skilled you are. And you shoot. Make sure that everyone's clear. And then you go down there, pick up your arrows, come back, do it all over again. And you just back and forth, back and forth. It's good exercise. I have a lot of fun shooting. So that's all I got for you guys today. You know, have any questions, you can always DM me, message me, whatever, and I'll answer your questions as best as I can. I'm not an expert at all. I'm pretty new to archery, but I've, you know, been able to get, you know, fairly decent, like hang out with some of the best. Like I went to my first competition shootout where these dudes who've been shooting for over 20 years, and I was actually able to keep up with them, hitting, you know, at 20 yards, you know, 3D targets and stuff like that. Now for normal, just a normal everyday, you're going to set up a target on a bail and you're going to shoot the target, right? Like whether it's a bullseye or a picture of an animal, that's what you're going to be doing. Now 3D is a little different. People get nervous about the terms. 3D is all it is just animals. They have like just mock animals. They'll set them out there with like trees and stuff like that, and you shoot the animals and they have a kill spot on the animal, you know, heart, whatever. And like for a bear, it's like right here, and there's different animals, you know, that have their kill spot, and you want to go for the kill spot. But that's another video for another day. I can explain 3D just a little bit better in another video. But these are all really important things for you to know. Most basic things. These are the most basic things. Once again, buy yourself a bow. Highly recommended. Snake recurve, Roland snake recurve. Very, very simple to shoot with and use, whatever. I think the 50-inch bow is like goes to 26 pounds. This one's a little bit bigger. And it shoots, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's very, very simple to shoot with, whatever. Once again, so make sure you buy yourself a nice bow. Don't dry fire it. Never, ever dry fire it. Don't let your friends pick it up and say, oh, cool, man. And they pull back and they let it go. Freaking break your bow. You have now your bow. And by the way, this thing right here, I got this thing for $50. Forgot to tell you guys that. I got this thing for $50 at my local archery shop. Very simple to buy. I was actually going to buy off of some Malta website, like $130. You don't need to do that. You can probably find it at a store near you, archery store near you, or you can order online. It's very, very simple to buy. So buy that, and then you buy your arrows. Make sure the arrows, you talk to someone about the bow you're getting and the arrows to match with a bow. Once again, you don't have to learn all the terms, you know, like because people are going to be like, oh, grains per this and that, whatever, and this is how you, like, that stuff's important, but those people will help you at the shop. They'll help you with those things. They'll be like, hey, this is the bow you're going to want to buy for beginners. Don't let them make you buy something that's too heavy for you to pull back because you're just going to be struggling and your performance is going to be horrible. So make sure you buy a good bow that you can shoot, so you pull back, shoot, take it to the range, shoot it. Oh, I can do this pretty easy, right? And then you're going to buy arrows to match, right? And then you're going to buy a shooting glove or tab. I'd recommend glove. Tab is pretty good, but that's more for advanced shooters, and tab is for like 3 under, actually, more or less. They have different gloves. I highly recommend this glove right here. Now I can't see it because it's so worn out, but it's a pretty good glove. You go to your local archery range and you can try. They'll let you try the different gloves, different taps, whatever, to get you ready for it, right? Ready to shoot. They'll help you. People at archery range, every archery range I've ever been to, they've always been really cool. They've never been like, oh, no, they want to sell you some stuff. They want to sell you some stuff. So you make sure you get that, right? And then after that, you're going to get yourself a quiver. Make sure you get yourself a quiver. You can stick them in your pocket like I was doing in the beginning of my career. I stick the arrows in my pocket and try to pull them out and shoot, whatever. Very inconvenient. You can buy a back quiver, which I have right here. You can kind of sort of see it from the back. Or you can buy like a quiver that hangs on your side, that faces forwards, backwards, whatever. People have all different kinds of quivers, different kinds of styles. Once again, those things are not important. It's as good as you are, right? Because you want to make sure you get proficient at shooting eventually, right? Make sure you get yourself good at shooting, right? And those are some of the top things I can think of when it comes to the basics of Archery 101. And then here's another thing I want you guys to look at as well. So we're going to come over here. Now you see my target has pretty much been abused a lot. But you want to get yourself a traditional target. Don't buy a compound one because your arrows are you're going to rip up your arrows and the tips are going to fall off. You want to make sure you get one that's for traditional archery as well. You know, and one of the best ways that I got decent at shooting archery is I went outside by myself and I watched a bunch of videos and learned how to shoot myself. Like, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I can give you guys some information on where I got my tips. If you guys want, you can message me, DM me, and say, hey man, like, what'd you use? What methods did you use? How'd you start off shooting? I can make a video about that as well. But you want to make sure that that you pick your own thing, right? Some people go to the range and they just try to learn from there, like, oh, I don't have someone teach me. Well, you can have someone teach you, but they can only teach you so much. And eventually you're going to have to go out and do your own style. So me, I was brave enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to go out in the middle of nowhere, all by myself, which is where I'm at right now. You guys can kind of sort of see. No one for miles, right? No one for miles. And I just went out and I learned. I forced myself to learn how to shoot. I was like, I got to learn how to shoot. I have to learn how to shoot, right? So those are some of the biggest tips that I recommend if you want to get into archery. And that's the best information I got for you guys today. So we'll make another video in a little bit. I'll see you guys later. Peace.